our next segment for our brunch with the inimitable Tracy Tutor, who you know from $1 Million Listing LA. Please welcome Tracy Tutor.
So you guys, we are going to have Tracy join us shortly here, but here she is.
Hello. Hi, guys.
We're so excited to have you. We're going to give you the stage.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it, you guys. It's always fun to do these types of events, but particularly with, women like yourselves. So thanks for doing this. I guess today you guys wanted to talk a little bit about, my book, which is called Fear is Just a Four-Letter Word. And obviously it is a book about fear and about conquering your fear, both in business and in your personal life. And I was inspired to do it because I 3.5 years ago joined a show called $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, which was a show that had been on for 9 seasons and funnily enough was dominated by men. Big shock. No, I decided that I would join the cast because I felt like at 40, I was ready. And I had been through 17 years of a career in real estate, through all the ups and downs of sort of climbing that ladder to success. And I felt like it was my time and I was confident at that time in my life and ready to join that cast. So I did it. And it was a leap of faith because obviously going on a reality television show is a little bit terrifying in your 40s. But I was proud of myself for doing it. And I remember I was sitting across from my agent and I was having lunch pre-COVID. And we were talking about, that platform and what it was like to be the only woman on a male-dominated show and how I could really talk to more women and connect, because the truth was this show was so surrounded by an audience, up to 2.5 million people sometimes would watch that weekly. And they were being introduced to what they felt was the most successful people in real estate around the country. And the fact that that was all men was really fascinating to me because, over 60% of women dominate the real estate industry. And so I just found it amusing that it took them 10 years to sort that out. And I wanted to connect with them quicker. And I felt the only way to do that was not by doing the show, but was by writing this book. And it was terrifying because I'm an awful writer, by the way, self-obsessed maybe, but awful writer. And I knew that I would have to sit down and partner with someone to really help me do that. And I sat across from my business partner at the time and I was like, can I do this? And she said, you 100% can. You just have to be fearless, which is what you're all about anyway. And so I sat down with a ghostwriter and we spent like week after week after week talking to each other and talking about different stories and different things that have happened to me over the course of my career. And a lot of failure is what the overwhelming theme was. And I think that failure is a big part of understanding success and how to embrace it. And I think so many times we don't know how to embrace our failures and turn that into something that we learn from. And so for me, I decided that was going to be a big piece of the book, and talking about fear, being a woman in business, because so many of us, for as long as I can remember, and even now, we have a wage gap between men and women in the workforce. And that's just not acceptable to me. And I felt like even though I work on commission and I'm not a salaried employee and I am my own boss and I work for myself, I was like, this doesn't work for me. So I did the book. I talk a lot about how to gain that confidence and that self-awareness so that you can own every room that you walk into. And, luckily for me, I think women have really embraced that book around the world, and men too, interestingly enough. I wasn't expecting that, but the truth is I think the book can be for everybody. There's so many women that are my age that, gave up their careers to raise their children or took a back seat to themselves because, they had kids to raise and a husband to take care of. And, that traditionally is what you were supposed to do. Well, I don't fucking believe in that. I believe in putting yourself first, because that's how you're going to be able to take care and love the people around you fully. And so when I talk about it in the book, I am really talking about, how to take those kinds of chances in your life and put yourself first. And I don't think that that's selfish. I think that if you are showing your children, and for example, my little girls, who I have an incredible relationship with, how to be an independent woman and how to, knock on the door of a CEO or a male-dominated room and be like, "What's up? I'm here. And I'm going to sit across from all of you. And then I'm going to tell you what's up. And I'm going to tell you where I'm coming from." And I think that that's really incredibly empowering and something that we should be showing our children more and more, because I personally want them to not have so much fear that it entangles them and, not entangles them, but it holds them back from, I think, achieving their fullest success. We were lucky enough, for the women that are watching that are my age, to grow up without social media. And I think today is such a big difference. And so I think more and more we have to deliver to our children the idea that as women today, we are confident, we are fearless, we embrace failure and we come out the other side and we speak our truth. And that's something that I believe fully. And I don't think that we do it enough. Accessing sort of, that inner gut that we don't trust enough, that instinct that when we're sitting across from somebody and we're being challenged or we're pitching for a big presentation or a job or whatever, you have that instinct or that little person on your shoulder that's kind of telling you what's going on. And more often than not, we don't use that inner voice and we don't use that gut and that instinct in a meeting because we're terrified of what actually might come out of our mouth. But this book to me is about just that. It's about teaching yourself and exercising that inner voice and that gut and that instinct, because I think what we don't do enough as women, and that's what makes us so special, right? That's what makes us different from men. Our gut and our instinct more often than not is spot on. And if we listen to it a little bit more and we exercise that uncomfortable nature, like speaking up and utilizing it, not only just in your personal relationships, but in your business life, you'll be unstoppable. And it's terrifying to a lot of people that are going to sit across from you, because when you speak your truth like that, really, truly, no matter if it's a confrontation or someone speaking to you with disrespect, and in that moment you actually address it, you're going to put your head on the pillow that night and you're going to feel a lot better in the morning, and you're not going to have anxiety, or you're going to have less anxiety. And the more you do it and the more you exercise that instinct and that voice, the easier it becomes. And to me, that's really sort of the key to success in business as a woman, particularly today, is to not be fearful of what the response might be, but to sort of embrace that response, good, bad, and ugly. And then when you're less fearful of the response, then you're going to speak your truth more. And, I think that's what wins people over, because they're able to connect. They're able to see, that you're not scared and that you're going to speak your truth, that you're going to be vulnerable, that, when someone says something that's not nice to you, that you're going to actually say, "That wasn't very nice, was it?" And I just think that we take a lot of that away from, interpersonal relationships, different dynamics in business. And I think that we go home and we go, "God, I wish I would have said that." Well, that's what this book is about. It's about saying it and figuring out how to say it and how to prepare yourself, not just in business, but really personally too. It's a much, I think, more peaceful way to be. I'm like, do I keep talking?
Sorry.
It's all good. You're amazing, but we're like, we gotta come in here and say hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
We're doing great. Thank you so much. I was just watching you on TV the other day and I was like, wow, she is such a boss. Like, she really walks into the room like she owns it every time.
I try.
Mm-hmm. That's a really, really important skill, I think, to teach our kids. Like, if you can instill confidence in them from an early age, I think that's key for sure. I'm trying to do that with my daughter right now. So
yeah, I mean, I have teenage girls, and one is almost 15 and the other is 12, and they watch me do these types of events and podcasts, and they're always in the background, like listening and stuff like that. And it is so important. And, I don't want my daughters to be 18 and off to college or off to start a new career and think that they can't walk in the room and have that kind of power and inner confidence. And it's like the best gift that we can give our kids. And to me, that's why independence is just so important.
Absolutely. I know, a little plug here for us. We got on Extra TV, which is like a huge moment for us. So I got to show my daughter that her mom was on TV, and she was so proud of me. And it just made me so
How old is your daughter?
She's 8 years old.
Oh, that's the cutest. It's so sweet. Well, good for you guys for doing this, because it is so awesome. And it really is about being a modern woman, and what that means is different for every woman. But I think it's so important to embrace like all different facets. And I believe in being a stay-at-home mom as well. And, it's just, you can be empowered however you want to be and however you choose to be, but just don't follow whatever the traditional path is of what we were told as kids and how it's all supposed to play out. It's however we want it to play out in our hearts, in our minds. We just have to vocalize it.
Yes. Such good advice. Thank you so much, Tracy, for joining us. We really enjoyed having you on, and we really appreciate you being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you guys. You can find the book on Amazon.
Yes, that's a great book to give for Christmas gifts. I'm like,
yeah,
I need that book for sure.
Take care, girls.
Tracy, bye.
Bye.